But we're going to look at some, oh, by the way, validity periods of certificates. We never mentioned the beetle in the beginning, 6 months. Not because there's a rule about that, but because it's an insect that can fly in, lay eggs, and every 6 months you could have a new infestation emerging. Not from those eggs. So the beetle lays the egg on a timber. The little larva goes in and starts eating inside the timber and comes out 18 months later. But until it emerges, we can't see that there's a beetle infestation. Okay, so that's why it's a 6-month period. The water certificate has to be done for every transfer. You cannot use a water certificate twice. That's why the buyer's name is on the certificate. And for the City of Cape Town to go contact the buyer to do a verification inspection. I don't know if you've experienced that, but they are doing verification inspections. The electric fence certificate, the only question that ever gets asked really, does the fence that runs around a complex, this comes up quite often, believe it or not, require a certificate? No, it belongs to Body Corporate. If the energizer was on the unit, located on the property of the unit that's being sold, maybe, but still I would imagine Body Corporate would cover it. So an individual fence that belongs to the home, the electric fence belongs to the homeowners association. Sometimes you might find one unit has their own fence, that would be different, okay? And then how long is an electric fence certificate valid for? Any ideas? No. It used to be considered to be 2 years by most people, myself included. We have recently discovered that it says, the EMR states, so unlike the electrical certificate, which may only be used to transfer property if the certificate is less than 2 years, there is no defined validity period for an electric fence. And the EMR, which is the machinery regulation, so the electrical installation is under the electrical installation. This is a fixed appliance. It goes under the machinery regulations. It states, subject to the provisions of, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but look right at the end. It says, provided that such certificate shall be transferable, like the electrical used to be before they made it 2 years. So unless work's been done on a property, you could use a 4-year-old certificate. It's not a good idea, but it is legal. Okay. Now, to see if I've got anything here. Yeah, the law states that the original certificate must be given to the buyer to make them aware of their legal obligations, but that doesn't really affect us too much. Oh, we've already covered that, sorry. Okay, so let's have a look here. Tip to save your seller money. Who should be doing the electric fence inspection? No. This is the only one we don't want to do, if we can help it. We don't mind, we'll help with it. The guy that installed it. So if I had to ask you, Amy, if you had a house, would you know who wired that house originally? Like back in the day? You wouldn't have a clue. Who's the contractor that wired the house? But the fence has a sign on it. And it tells you most of the time, unless it's a generic Nemtech sign or something like that, it tells you who the installer is. Go back to them. They know when it was installed, and that's important because the laws changed in 2012. So one set of rules applies before 2012 and another one after. And they've got all the diagrams that you need to submit with a certificate. Don't waste the seller's money getting us to do it. We'll do it if they don't know who it is, or if they don't have an existing certificate, but otherwise go back to the seller. Go back to the original installer, sorry. Okay, we're going to skip over that. This is another interesting